so brazen. He's now committing like disability labor laws live on his own app. Okay, so I'm sorry we have to do this, but this is something that's so genuinely heartless and cruel that I can't even possibly not talk about this. Everybody's least favorite neighborhood billionaire Redditor divorced dad of 73 children, none of which he actually seems to spend any time taking care of, let alone his businesses that he's purported to be one of the world's best entrepreneurs at running, is at it again. Yes, we're talking about Elon Musk, right? Ever since the merger with him buying Twitter, things have been on the downslope, obviously, but we haven't talked about it in quite some time because things have like relatively stabilized. And when I say relatively stabilized, it's kind of one of those things, when you put something down on like a slope and it's not like staying there, but it's like really slowly falling. So you feel like it's okay to just kind of turn around to do something else for a second because you think that you'll have time to catch it. Or have you ever, do I have anybody who ever worked at McDonald's? You ever like had to fill up iced teas, but they take some time to actually make? So you like get the scoop of the ice in the cup and then you put it down and then you open the tap for the iced tea and then you turn around to go do something else, and then you hopefully come back before the iced tea overflows into the ice bucket. You know what I mean? It's kind of like that for some time, but things have fallen apart way worse and way faster in the last couple of days. One of the things is that Elon opened Twitter back up again to political ads, which is an issue because election season is coming back up and things are going to not be too great recently. That, as well as since they're no longer making money from like large sponsors that used to be a part of Twitter, they started to have to take sponsors from like scam companies and low reputable weirdo ad buyers for low amounts of money. It was so bad that this ad buyer, Quicken Compare, don't borrow from the bank, borrow from yourself. And then they had this like meme chart, but then this was so incorrect and misleading that instead of not taking their money, Elon took their money, but then had to put a disclaimer on the ad to say that had to put a disclaimer on this ad to show that it was like that you shouldn't buy it. It's so because he doesn't want to get dinged for helping fraud and other like malicious sales tactics on the platform. So he has to now like take the money, but then say, hey, you guys shouldn't buy this. Actually, you should be careful. This is a real ad. Yes, this is a real ad. Yes, this is a real ad. This is a real Twitter ad that really popped up. Yes, it is. I had to save it. I had to save it just so I could talk about it because it's really that bad. Yeah. So that's not great. But things have gotten even worse because he's turned his eyes away from the normal sort of like cringe that divorced dad stuff that he gets up to on the app, like still negging AOC. After this, somebody posted this picture of Mayoc, where it's the AOC where somebody tried to make her Aryan. Elon, when's the date with AOC? Alas, she would never date me. I'm not cool enough. Just wild amounts of divorced energy coming off of this. But things, like I said, have gotten even worse than that. Shark, even worse than that? Yes, even worse than that. So let's talk about something really quick, okay? Let's talk about a little Twitter exchange that happened yesterday afternoon. There's this guy, Hallie, or Halalder, right? And he made this tweet, big tweet. Dear Elon Musk, wave. 9 days ago, the access to my work computer was cut off, along with about 200 other Twitter employees. However, your head of HR is not able to confirm if I'm an employee or not. You have not answered my emails. Maybe if enough people retweet this, you'll answer here, which is genuinely insane. Can you, like, this is wild. This should get your, like, I think in the country, if I'm going to be honest, I think that we should have something that should make you incapable of being an executive. I think if you commit enough, like, labor law infractions that the state should designate you as not being able to run a business. Like, you just shouldn't be allowed to do that anymore. You know what I mean? We already have that with guns. Oh, you can take away someone's guns for committing a crime, but like if you commit like a white collar crime and ruin like hundreds, thousands of people's livelihoods, you get a slap on the wrist and then you could just do it all over again if you have enough money. No, this is insane. This is insane to me, to have like your work cut off for 9 days and then nobody can know if you're like there or not. He just has like a little switch in his room that he just turns off your computer and logs you out, and then that's just it. And that's just it. Bro thinks this is Tinder. This is not Tinder, okay? This is not a dating app. It's a job. It's a business. You can't get rid of people by just ghosting them. That's not how this works. This is people's lives that we're talking about. But anyways, after still getting no response, he has to hit up like Jack Dorsey and ask if Jack Dorsey could hopefully like talk to Elon Musk so he could like figure out if he's still working or not, because Elon doesn't want to reply. And then he finally did. And this is what he said. What work have you been doing? It's just incredible. So asking, hey, Elon, do I have a job? Which is already a remarkable question and one that you don't need to ask to an employer, period. But do I have a job? And he goes, what work have you been doing? Well, nothing, because I haven't been able to access my computer. But they say, I would need to break confidentiality to answer this question here. If you have your lawyers share it in writing, then I can do it. Then I'd be happy to discuss that openly. And he says, it's approved. It's approved. You can go ahead. Me doing law stuff in my Twitter replies. Genuinely insane stuff going on here. But let's continue on. Among others, led the effort to save about $500K on one SaaS contract, supported closing down many others, led prioritizing designs and other projects, led design critics to help level up design across the company. This guy, he does design, and we'll talk about this in a moment. But his big thing is design. All right, he works in design, part of the back end on Twitter. Bunch of other stuff. Says I could go on, but the original question is if I was still employed, since you're the head of HR. Since your head of HR hasn't been able to answer my question yet. I just want to know if but she did not miraculously reply. So I finally have confirmation that I no longer work at Twitter. Well, there you go. But now he knows that he doesn't work at Twitter. So out of nowhere, getting into a kerfuffle. This is incredible to me. The only way you know anything about what's going on is just you have to check out what Elon's been tweeting. That's the only way. Is that why he likes Donald Trump? Because Donald Trump likes to try to be president through Twitter. So he's like, oh, if Trump can be president through Twitter, then I can be head of Twitter through Twitter. It's level up from what design to what? Pixar, it didn't happen. We haven't hired a design roles in 4 months. What changes do you make to help the youths? What is this question? What are these questions? What? We haven't hired somebody in 4 months? Have you ever thought that he was on before you took over? Level up from what to what? Well, maybe he'd be able to do that if he wasn't locked out of his computer. You locked me out of my computer. I don't have access to pictures or documents. What do you want? Elon Musk, what do you want? Would you say you're a people person? He's just memeing. Now he's just memeing here. He's literally memeing at somebody who just wants to know if they're going to get a paycheck at the end of the month. That's it. That's all he wants to know. Just so you know, all he wants to know if he should keep trying to like hit up HR or like if he's going to get a paycheck this month. That's all he wants to know. And he's like actually just harassing this man. It's crazy. But it continues on, and I promise you, it gets even worse than this. It's genuinely disgusting how he treats this guy. And then he says this. Which SaaS contract exactly? Prioritizing of what design? Still poking and prodding him. Just so you know, this guy's like, he's already laid off at this point. Like he already knows that he's now laid off at this point. But
this meme is very real.
But yeah, we're working on it. It's just because that people person line is fucked because here, You're jumping ahead, Merrick. We'll get to it. We will get to it, I promise. Which SaaS contract exactly? Prioritization of what designs? And then he replies, Figma, all creative design projects. And then Elon goes, ah! Ah! Hilarious! Oh, Figma, huh? Figma? You work at Figma, buddy? Huh? That's what you've been doing here this whole time? You're a Figma boy? And so he's cackling at this guy. He's laughing at this guy, right? Because, listen, our Reddit king god emperor, Elon Musk, poster supreme, okay? Wholesome 100 big chungus, epic ownage lad, Elon Musk would not fall for a silly ligma joke or a Figma joke, okay? Imagine if Figma was real, dude. Imagine if Figma was real. Figma connects everyone in the design process so teams can deliver better projects faster. Join our industry-leading organizations pushing boundaries and solving problems at Figma. Our customers. So if you don't know, the SaaS is a way in which you can, it's a way of getting software to work for an entire team. So it's basically a subscription service for you to be able to have multiple people access a single piece of software instead of having to buy the software individually for each and every person who works at your business, right? And you pay per seat. You pay per person who's working. Figma is a website design tool that allows you to design websites. And now, who is this person that Elon Musk is talking to again? What did he do? He designs websites. That's his thing. He's a website designer. And so he's like, yeah, I work with Figma. And Elon just laughs. He just laughs. Bro, unironically doesn't know how his company works that he bought. He just doesn't get it. He doesn't understand. He thought that this guy was trapping him in like a ligma joke, but he just doesn't get it and doesn't want to get it. He doesn't care to understand. And he's laid off probably one of the most important people who was working at Twitter. Okay. All right. Here, let me show you something. Okay. This guy. Okay. The reason why this guy was working on Twitter, there's a couple reasons. One is because he's a world-renowned website designer. He's so world-renowned that Twitter wanted not only his work, they wanted his whole company. And so to get him to work for Twitter, they literally bought his entire company and just said, just keep working at your company, but also kind of work for us a little bit. And then we'll pay you the money that we would for just buying your company in wages to work at Twitter while you're here and while we use the company, right? That was the contract that he signed with Twitter. This guy was so important, actually, that he was on a do not fire list. He was on a do not fire list. The Twitter executives, before they left, literally left the sort of like, you ever had to send your dog to like doggy daycare or something, or like you had to have like a baby cousin or something, or you had to have like a baby like babysat, and so you write down notes for the babysitter, like do this. One of the things was, this guy, Halolder, do not fire him. He literally runs the design of the company. Do not fire. And you know what he does? When he was tight for some cash, he decided to simply fire him. Just because he felt like it. Just, shoop, whatever. Just fire him. And not even in like a normal way. He just logs him out of his computer and then just walks away and tries to ghost him, and hopefully he just won't come back in. It's wild. It's so fucked. It gets worse. It's still getting worse. We're not even to the worst part yet. We're not even there yet. How? I'm sorry about this. But I gotta tell you what next. I gotta tell you what next, because this one's pretty bad. So after this little goofy ass exchange that he had with this guy, who was like, this guy, mind you, he has his own Wikipedia page. Born in 1977, an Icelandic entrepreneur, businessman, and philanthropist. The founder of the company, and in 2019, Icelandic business won Iceland's Businessman of the Year. His company was sold to Twitter in 2021 and worked at Twitter until 2023. The year without our Lord. Very sad stuff. Haraldur was born with a genetic congenital muscle disease that forced him into a wheelchair at the age of 24. His mom died when he was 11 in a drunk driving accident. All right. So he's been making the rounds, okay? In agreement between him and Twitter, most of the purchase price would be paid as salary to maximize the tax he would pay in sales tax in Iceland. He chose to pay the tax anyways for respect of Icelandic disability benefits. Per the agreement, he paid the second highest tax in all of Iceland in 2021. He helped launch Ramp Up Reykjavik, a collaborative venture undertaken by local businesses, labor unions, Mr. Musk hates these, and government ministries and other places to help build wheelchair ramps to improve accessibility for people with disabilities. After the project's success, he started moving on to other things. And his goal was to put up 1,500 ramps by 2026. Actually, genuinely a nice guy. That's nice. Yeah, genuinely a pretty nice guy. He really is. Oh, come on, man. Yeah, I know, right? Here's a pic of the guy. Bro kind of seems like a cool guy. I'm not gonna lie. Baller pic. That does seem. This is pretty badass. I'm not gonna lie to you. That one's pretty sick. I'm not gonna lie. With that being said, somebody took the screenshots of the interaction that he was having, and he was like, "I'm not gonna lie. This is one of the most entertaining exit interviews I've ever witnessed." Well, hilarious. Hilarious. This is so funny. I love people losing their jobs online as they get berated in front of their Redditor boss. Hilarious. Elon decided to respond to this with this. The reality is that guy who is independently wealthy. So just so you know, Elon has now just looked this guy up. Elon had no clue who the fuck this guy was, and he just now looked this guy up. He Googled him, and he's like, well, fuck this guy. He's like, why does this guy have so many followers? He's like, yo, fuck this guy now. Listen, he's rich. He's rich too. He's rich too. He did no work. He claimed as his excuse that he had a disability that prevented him from typing. Yet he's on Twitter typing. I can't say I have a lot of respect for that. Yeah, making fun of a guy with a physical disability when he has such a debilitating mental disability is truly remarkable, I must say. It really is. Just so we know what's going on, Elon has fired a disabled guy because he wanted to save money, and he thought Twitter was paying him too much money. Since they were paying him in wages of the company that they bought for him,
this meme is
he was just like, this guy, he's asking for time off, and we're paying him like hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. Cut him. Didn't think for a second longer than that. And by cut him, I just mean just remove his login and just kind of pretend he just wheels himself away from headquarters instead of actually just letting him go, which wouldn't save him money because he signed a contract with Twitter that he would be paid the money that he would get from Twitter buying his business. So now he just pushed out a world-renowned web developer for fun, but still has to pay him hundreds of thousands of dollars. So now he's getting no work, but also have to pay him hundreds of thousands of dollars. Then outs the fact that he has a disability after talking about it to HR on Twitter, and then makes fun of him for it, and then insinuates that his disability is the reason why he fired him. This is illegal. This is illegal. Disability lawyers' heads are spinning. You are not canceled. It's the law. You go to jail. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's one of the worst things a manager could do. Yes, it is. He's like, Lamau, he said he was disabled, but he's typing. What a goofball. Hey, it's crazy. And it's so bad that even the Bitcoin bros are starting to turn on him and they're like, yo, dog, that's kind of rude. I don't think it's a good idea to shit on a former employee in public. And then Elon goes, sorry, Mr. Dogecoin, but you don't get it. He's just the worst. Sorry. Oh, this guy, he's like, he's just the worst. He was always going to HR and being like, HR, I need time off. HR, my muscular degenerating disability is making it hard for me to type for multiple hours a day. Wow, what was me? So I just cut his ass out. He's the disabled people. They're the worst. Always want money for working less than other people who can do more. That shit's crazy. This is crazy. This is fucking crazy, dude. I was shocked when I saw this. He's so brazen. He's now committing like disability labor laws live on his own app. He's just tweeting it. He's just tweeting it. He just doesn't care. It's remarkable. And then he had to respond to him, and then Halalder said this. My legs were the first to go when I was 25 years old, started using a wheelchair. It's been 20 years since that happened. In that time, the rest of my body has been failing me too. I need help to get up and out of bed and to use the toilet. For a long time, my arms will remain strong. My doctor told me they would, but they ended up losing strength, which I don't mind telling you, which is hard to accept. But you okay the cards that you are dealt, that I've managed to create a wonderful life. My family is the best. I love my kids. And 9 years ago, I made my company. And he goes on to talk about how it's hard for him now to sit at a desk and use a keyboard all day. So we had to talk to HR to say, hey, can you work with me a little bit? Because my disability has been getting worse. And Elon saw that as an opportunity to fucking cull the weak. It's so inspirational. It actually is. It actually is pretty inspirational. I'm not going to lie to you. Get paid, king. Yeah, and since he's been fired like this, he's probably still going to get the money that he's earned. May sue Elon, because Elon does deserve to get sued here. I hope so. He's the worst. Having muscular dystrophy makes you the worst. And all while this is happening, Elon has been building up his force, his like force of bodyguards that follow him around Twitter every day because he thinks he's gonna get Julius Caesared. He thinks he's gonna get Julius Caesared. Like the rest of his employees will like rise up against him, the ones who he hasn't like laid off yet, and they'll like stab him to death or something. So he has to have like bodyguards to make sure that everything's going to be okay. It's just crazy. Yeah, he really thinks he's that guy. He really thinks he's that guy. So yeah, I just had to share this with you because this is a genuinely like mind-blowing story and a glimpse into just what this man thinks about normal working class people. They're just so disposable. And the thing is, this guy, he isn't working class. He is quite well off. That being said, just because he's quite well off doesn't mean Elon knew about it. And I would honestly hazard to bet that Elon didn't know about it when he was writing his like antagonistic tweets against this guy. I just don't believe that he actually knew that this guy was actually disabled. I don't believe so. He knows so little. And I also don't believe he knew what Figma was either. And he's been going like on and on and on and on for like the entire day, talking about how cringe it is and everything. It's just, it's just disgusting. Fuck you, editors. Wait 1 second. Quick pause. Holy shit. The Elon Musk Holly story, it has more layers. Ever since we've been streaming, there are now more layers. Bro. Me when I fuck up. New Elon tweet. Yeah, about the disabled person who he fired for being too disabled to work. Well, too disabled to, like, he felt valuable keeping them around anymore, even though his company bought the company that he works with now, or whatever. But then there's the, look at this. Based on your comment, I did a video call with Holly to figure out what's real versus what's told. It's a long story. Better to talk to people than communicate via tweet. I can't keep doing this. Hindsight is 2020, Elon. Thought Figma was a ligma joke. Didn't know what one of the most important designers for Twitter was doing. Outed him as disabled. Fired him for being disabled. Didn't look into what was real versus what was false. Got mad because he felt called out. And then after he gets called out on Twitter with multiple hundreds of thousands of like tweets, goes, "Huh, I should do a video call to figure out what's actually happening." I can't do this anymore, dude. I hate this man so much. I should do a video call to see what's actually going on. Hey man, I know I clowned on you for having muscular dystrophy earlier today on my app, but you want to do a video call? We can hash things out and see what's real. Because I didn't look into any of the shit, honestly. I go past my limits. It is true. I do go past my limits. Okay. Hit him with a frying pan. Dun! That's what he needs. You're right. Instead of him having like bodyguards follow him around, he needs a guy with like a nice big frying pan to just follow him around. You know what I mean? A nice thick one too. You know, just to follow him around. Hit him with a, you know what I'm talking about? Just absolutely that man. When he walks into the server room and he's like, I wonder which wire I want to chew on today. The guy behind him just needs to go, I think I'm going to lay off another a bunch of workers. I'm not really going to check out which one is which. I think I'm just going to maybe put all their names on a dartboard and spin around 4 times and blindfold myself and throw a dart. Let me get started. Oh, well, hey! That's what he needs. That's what he needs to fix him. He needs a Hispanic mom with a sandal. That is true. That is true. But like while he's sitting in the office, feet kicked up on the desk, doing literally nothing, and is about to tweet the worst tweet you've seen in your entire life, somebody just needs to go, frying pan sound effect, but much more violent. Oh, true. Elon. Where's Elon? He's on the Slack. He's trying to fire more people. Somebody, where's the bunker? Somebody quick. No, not the pipe. Not the pipe. It's just every time he walks out of his office without a clear vision of what he's going to do, and not in proving that he's going to talk to some executives and some people with know-how before he makes any move. They need to hit him with a. And until then, honestly, I think he needs to be kept in his office, locked in there. His noggin needs a flogging. I hate this guy. Come here. Come here. Oh. Hi. Oh, sorry. I didn't see you there. If you're enjoying the content, hit the subscribe button. If you don't, It'll make Boo very sad. I know a bunch of you who are watching are not subscribed. Join the frenzy. You won't regret it. Thank you, Boo.